Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome to my channel and welcome to tonight's video. It is a Saturday night. Harris went out with a friend, and if you guys know me and have been around for a while, you would know on the weekends when Harris goes out, it is my turn to relax and have a little bit of fun. And so I have my wine here. I'm having some Hampton Water Rosé, and I'm going to be filming a very controversial video, to say the least. When I was thinking of what I wanted to film this weekend, I knew I wanted to sit down and film something. It's been, I think, like 2 weeks since I sat down and actually talked to you guys and filmed a fun little chatty video. And I didn't really want to do a Q&A. I have so many of those on my channel. And so I was scouring the internet looking for something entertaining to film, and I actually came across tag videos. I'm throwing it back to old YouTube and I'm doing a tag video tonight. I don't know if tag videos are still in and are still big, but I came across this one and I'm actually really excited to kind of broach these topics with you guys. If you guys couldn't already tell by the title, I'm filming the controversial parenting tag tonight. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different controversial parenting topics that this tag has. And I'm going to give you guys my opinion on each one of these. And then I did go ahead and ask you guys over on my Instagram if there were any other controversial parenting topics that you guys wanted me to address in this video. So if you are off the clock, your babies are in bed, or if you don't have kids, grab a drink, join me, and let's talk about some controversial parenting topics. So I want to throw out a quick disclaimer before we jump into this video and say that if you have a difference of opinions with me or with anyone else in the comment section down below and you want to address it and talk about it, please do so in a kind way. I am not for mom shaming or aggressive hate comments or anything like that. And if that becomes the case where this comment section is filled with heated debates and hate and just not positive things, I will go ahead and turn the comments off in this video, because that's not what my channel is about. I'm not about negativity, and I have really never been about negativity. I don't like to entertain it or anything like that on my channel. And if you guys are loyal subscribers and comment all the time, you know that I'm a very positive person in my comment section. So if you want to address your difference of opinions or, you know, say anything about any of these topics down below, do so in a positive, constructive, kind manner, or your comment may be removed, or I might just turn the comments off altogether. So with that being said, now let's get into tonight's video. So topic number 1, which is definitely a very huge topic, heavy topic, is pro-life or pro-choice. And I 100% am pro-choice. I have people in my life who have had to make the difficult decision to terminate the pregnancy, and all of them have said that even though it was one of the hardest decisions of their lives, it was what was best at that time. And I think it is very positive for women to have that choice and that sense of independence for their own body and for, you know, pregnancy and things like that. I did take a women in reproductive course. It was a sociology course, and we learned a lot about areas where abortion is illegal. And because of that, women who don't want to go ahead with pregnancies, they still go through the steps to have abortions, and they are super unsafe. They lead to a lot of deaths, a lot of unnecessary crimes, because there are cases where you just cannot carry that baby to term, and it is not in the best interest of your life moving forward and your future. And so, without going too much into detail, I am pro-choice. Topic number 2, baby wearing. I honestly love baby wearing. I didn't wear the boys all that much just because I couldn't really figure out how to carry both of them. I did have one of those like wrap slings that I could have figured out how to put both of them in, but honestly it was just too complicated for me to try. I tried multiple times. And then I did have like the baby Bjorn carriers that just like clipped onto and the baby sat in the front, and I did use that like once or twice with Ben. He was super clingy and has always been a super clingy baby. But because I had twins, it was really hard for me to baby wear. I know a lot of people who have twins successfully baby wear both of their babies, but for me, I could not figure it out. So I didn't baby wear all that much. I hope my next pregnancy is a single pregnancy. I don't foresee myself having twins anymore. But you know, if that's the case, all right. But if it is just one baby, I would love to baby wear that baby. I think it's amazing. All right. Next topic, which I'm not going to say if my boys are or aren't, just because that is like their privacy, but circumcision, I don't see it as like baby mutilation. That's what a lot of people who have a negative view on this say it is. I don't really see it that way. So yeah, I don't have any negative opinions about circumcision. Next topic, adoption. I don't have any negative opinions about adoption. If I was in the place where A, I couldn't have babies naturally, B, I wasn't in the financial standpoint to go through multiple rounds of IVF and conceive my child on my own, I don't see anything wrong with adoption, whether it's like within the United States or internationally, abroad, overseas, any form of adoption. I think it's amazing to give a child, no matter what the age is, you can adopt a baby or a child at any point in their life. I think it's amazing to give them a loving, caring home if they're not able to have that on their own. And I also think it's amazing for couples who cannot have children on their own, like biologically and naturally, to be able to have that sense of family and motherhood and fatherhood. And so I am all for adoption. Next, breast milk versus formula. So if you guys don't know, I have twins. They are 14 months now, and I did go ahead and breastfeed them for the first 3 or 4 months until, you know, my supply just couldn't really keep up with twins. I wasn't drinking enough water. I wasn't eating 100% like how you're supposed to keep your milk supply up. And so I couldn't breastfeed for all that long. I did save up quite a supply, and so even though I wasn't breastfeeding for months after the boys were getting some sort of breast milk from my frozen supply, and so I was all for breastfeeding. Like going into having my boys, I really wanted to do it. There are a lot of great benefits, especially in the first few days with the colostrum and everything like that. And for me especially, breastfeeding worked out amazing because I wound up getting COVID super early on. And so my boys were able to get antibodies from me through my breast milk, and they did not get super ill with COVID. So I'm all for breast milk, and I'm all for formula. If for some reason, personally, you don't see yourself wanting to breastfeed, I had a friend who just couldn't see herself breastfeeding. She gave her baby formula right off the bat, and that's completely fine. It's whatever you feel is best for your child. Fed is best. Wouldn't you rather your child be alive and thriving than starving and having like failure to thrive because you're not able to give that baby the nutrients that it needs to grow? So whether it be breast milk or formula, I'm for either one. My boys got both of them. They took formula from 3 months all the way up until they were a year old. Well, like 11 months. This Hampton water, delicious. I mentioned in a previous tipsy video that Whispering Angel was my favorite, but Hampton water is slowly creeping up. Also, I got my nails done today, and I got this like nude color, and I'm really not sure how I feel about it. I feel like I look like I have like dead hands. Like it doesn't really look like I have nails. I think maybe if I was tanner, it would look better. But moving on to topic 5, and that is baby piercing. Again, this is another thing that people feel it's like baby mutilation and like baby harm because you're putting your child through that. But I got my ears pierced super young. I was like maybe 3 months old. Mom, correct me if I'm wrong, but I got my ears pierced when I was a super young baby. First hole. I know a lot of people who do. And again, I think it's personal preference if you want your baby to have pierced ears, whether it be a boy or a girl, and you want to do it young enough that they can't remember it. That's why a lot of people get their baby's ears pierced so young, because they won't remember it. It's a quick second, you hold them still, and it's over with. I think it's a personal choice. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. And I did it. I got mine done when I was super young, and I'm completely fine. So I have no negative opinions about baby piercing. All right, next topic. Cry it out method versus others. So I originally didn't want to do cry it out with the boys. I went into sleep training them. First of all, I did like the taking care of babies newborn sleep class, And I felt like that set a pretty good foundation for the boys for sleep, and they did really well sleeping through the night in our room. It was when we put them in the nursery that we had some issues with them waking up, just because I felt like they couldn't like feel me or anything like that. I think maybe that's what it was. But when we went into sleep training the boys, I really wanted to do the Ferber method, which is a controlled cry it out method. It's where you go in at different intervals of time so your child isn't crying endlessly. However, that really didn't work with our boys, and we did go ahead and do the cry it out method. It was one night that each baby had to cry. It was a very prolonged period of time. I think it was a little over an hour for each boy, but in my mind, I justified it because I knew they weren't hungry. They were fed right before they went to bed. They proved to me that they could sleep through the night before we had tried this cry it out, so I knew they weren't hungry. They were capable of sleeping through the night. Diapers weren't overly soiled. I always checked if they were crying, and when I left the room, if they continued to cry, that's when I knew they were okay. They were safe within the 4 walls of their crib. They were comfortable in their clothing, the temperature of the room, everything like that. I knew they were safe and nothing was wrong. I never slept through them crying it out. The 2 nights that the boys had to cry it out, I think Ben was like the first night and Jack was the second night, I sat up and I listened to them cry and I watched on the monitors to make sure that they were 100% safe. They weren't stuck. They weren't, face into the mattress. There was nothing that was like going to harm them in any way. And it was one night and the boys have never done it again. They've never had to cry prolonged periods of time. Of course, like if they wake up in the middle of the night and they cry, I run through that checklist in my mind and make sure that they're safe and nothing is wrong with them. And if I have any questions about it, I go in there, I check their diaper, I check them if they're warm, if they're sick, and I know they're sick going into that night. So cry it out, it worked for me. I don't think, again, it's another form of torture. People who have negative opinions about cry it out say it's a form of torture to let your child sit there and cry, but I don't really think it is. I know there's a lot of research out there that says that it could cause negative impacts on your child, which I think if you let your child cry for hours on end every single night in a row for a prolonged period of time, yes, that could have a negative effect on the child mentally, emotionally, with their attachment to the parent, everything like that. I believe that. One night of crying, I don't think it harmed them that badly. Maybe they were upset in the moment. Are they going to remember it going forward? No. Do I attend to them 24/7 every day of their lives? Do they have great attachments to me? Do they know that I'm a positive caregiver? Yes. So cry it out. We did it. Again, if you're going to do it, I have no ill will towards you. Next controversial topic, spanking, which in today's day and age, a lot of people don't spank their children. Back when I was a kid, you got a good spanking every once in a while if you were acting up. For me personally, I'm not going to go out of my way to spank my child and reprimand them in that manner. There have been times where like Jack has went to go touch something, I quickly smacked the back of his hand because it was not safe. He was going to put his hand in like hot food and I smacked his hand quickly just because that was my gut reaction to get him to stop. So that was like, I guess, reprimanding him with physical contact, but it wasn't me like maliciously spanking him, hitting him, trying to prove a point with him. It was me like smacking his hand because I just didn't know what to do to get his hand away from the hot food. So spanking your child, again, it happened a lot back in the day, not so much anymore. Will I take part in physically spanking my children to reprimand them? No, I really want to take a very like, I don't know what the word for it is. Like, I can't think of what the word is. Like, I want to make sure anytime that something goes wrong or, if they're not listening to me, take that as like a teachable moment. I know there's a word for this and I can't think of it right now. If I can think of it when I'm editing, I'll put it here. But like, I want to make sure they know why I'm saying no to something. If it's something that can hurt them, I want to clearly explain to them, like, this could hurt you if you do this. And that is why mommy says not to touch this. For me, I think using physical violence to reprimand your child, I just don't think it is very productive. I'm not going to take part in physically spanking or hurting my child to reprimand them. Next topic, co-sleeping. Again, a lot of people have their opinions on co-sleeping and its like effects of SIDS and, is it safe sleep? What the like pediatric center says about it. There's like a whole bunch of different information you could get out there about co-sleeping. It's good because of this, it's bad because of this. Personally, I did not want to co-sleep just because Harris is like a very heavy sleeper and he moves a lot in his sleep, and I didn't trust him to co-sleep with the children. There were two instances. Once where our thermostat actually broke and it was absolutely freezing in our house, and the only way I thought the boys could get warm was to be in the bed with us. They were pretty little when that happened, so we slept together that night. And there were some instances early on where the boys literally didn't want to sleep unless I held them, so I did, but I really wasn't sleeping myself. We were safe. We were in like the middle of my bed. But I don't consciously co-sleep. It's just a personal choice. I just don't think I'd be able to sleep good, and especially because I have twins, I just don't think there'd be a lot of room in the bed, and I don't think that anyone would get great sleep. So personally, I never wanted to co-sleep or will co-sleep in the future. As a child, we were never allowed to sleep in the bed with my mom. If we were sick, we could sleep on the couch and she would sleep on the floor with us, or like she would come into our room, or we could sleep in her bed and like she slept on the couch. We never really slept in the bed with like our parents that I could remember. It wasn't until we got older and like we had like sleepovers, but like as a kid, I don't really remember ever sleeping in the bed with my mom. So yeah, personal choice. I just don't really want to co-sleep or ever wanted to. Okay, next topic. Home versus public versus private versus charter school. I almost stumbled on my words there. Again, I really don't have any personal like opinion on this. I went to public school. I'm completely fine. I went to like a public college, everything like that. Middle school, high school, yada yada yada. And I turned out fine. I felt like I got a great education. I graduated, you know, top of my class in high school and in college. So I really don't have a personal opinion on it. I know that like anything beyond public school is very expensive. So if you have the money and you have the means and you want to send your child to a private or charter or whatever kind of school, more power to you. But I really don't have a personal preference, and my children will 99.9% most likely go to public school. Next controversial topic, which is a widely known controversial topic, vaccinations. I vaccinate my children. I don't see anything wrong with it. I really am not going to get too much into detail about it. I really don't see anything wrong with it. I vaccinate my kids. Next topic, medicating children. Again, this is another thing. Like, I give my children Tylenol if they're not feeling well. I don't think it is a terrible thing. I think that we are far enough like advanced where we like, there are so many kids out there who get Tylenol. I probably got a crap ton of Tylenol when I was a kid and different medications and things like that, and I turned out fine. So if my child's in pain and I can alleviate that pain with Tylenol or Motrin or gas medication or anything like that, I give my child medication. Next, cloth versus disposable diapers. I was not dealing with cloth diapers. There was no way in hell I was scraping crap out of a diaper, tossing it into the toilet, and then willingly touching it to wash it in the wash machine. More power to you. If you have the time for that. I have twins. I didn't have the time or the patience to do that, which is probably horrible to say. I probably go through so many diapers. I think early on, each child was getting like 12 diapers a day. So it's 24 diapers a day. Yes, that's a lot of waste, but again, I was not about to scrape crap out of a diaper. Okay, last topic on here, store-bought versus homemade baby food. And I went into this saying, I'm gonna make my own baby puree. I'm gonna do all this, which I didn't. The boys got jarred pureed baby food very early on, rice cereal, whole wheat cereal. I know there's a lot out there right now and there's a lot of controversy around it and the heavy metals that are in it and if it's good for your children or not. But I gave it to my boys. And then around like 6 months, I started with like table food, things you buy from the store. So I guess it is like homemade. I would cook my own food. The boys now get basically everything cooked, steamed, prepared, everything by me. They do get, some frozen things like veggie burgers and things like that, but for the most part I'm preparing their food at home. So whether it's store-bought or it's homemade, I'll give it to my children. More power to you if you can home make your own purees and you have time for that. I wanted to, I really did, but again, I didn't have the patience for it, so they got food from a jar. But now most of their food is like homemade, so either way, doesn't matter to me. So now there are two more topics, really one more topic. The other one was just a question, so I'm not really going to, I mean, I guess I'll address it. But one was screen time, and I went into having my children saying that they were not going to have screen time, yada yada yada, which I think that they have pretty like modest screen time. They don't have iPads. They probably will never have an iPad because I think that is such a waste. And they never get my phone. If we are out somewhere, they do not get entertained by my screen at all. So iPads and iPhones, no. TV, yes. They have one channel they watch, Baby First. It is all like educational content, and they've been watching that since they were like a few months old. I don't feel bad about it because it is educational in like content, colors, alphabet, words, skills, things like that. It's not like mindless cartoons like SpongeBob or anything like that, so I don't really feel bad that the boys are watching it. For me, it's anything that will give me 10 minutes of peace and quiet to have some sanity left. So yes, the boys get screen time, but to me it's pretty like moderate. Like, I don't think it's anything insane. It's not like they're having an iPad this close to their face at all times of the day. And the last topic, this one's not really that controversial, but the last topic is stages and what stage is the easiest. Was the infant stage the easiest or the hardest, and yada yada yada. And for me, the infant stage was the easiest, even though there was so much that I had to do between feeding the boys every few hours and so many diaper changes and sleep training and waking up in the middle of the night and all that stuff. To me, that I would do that all over again, in comparison to now, where they physically want to be entertained all the time. They actually have needs and wants and emotions, and to me it's a lot more draining now to have to deal with that, the frustration, the tantrums that are starting even though they're only 14 months old. To me, I would take a little less sleep if during the day they slept more. They were great sleepers as young babies and would take frequent naps. It was so nice. Now we're down to one nap, just like a couple hours a day. But to me, the infant stage really wasn't that hard. It was a lot more demanding, and there was a lot more structure and things that had to be done. Like I said, feeding them every few hours and all that kind of stuff. But I would much rather do that than have to try and figure out an activity to keep them entertained or deal with their little temper tantrums and all that kind of stuff. Yes, now the older ages are a lot more entertaining and fun, and it's so fascinating to watch them want to talk and learn new words and have like favorite things and watch them have interest in something. Like, that is so much fun. But to me, eat, sleep, poop, repeat was so much easier than what it is now. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my hot takes on all of these controversial parenting topics. Again, if you have a difference of opinion from me, respect those opinions, respect my opinion, the opinions of other subscribers and everything like that. And just be kind in the comments. Don't cancel me. Don't come for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.